Welcome, everybody. You are listening to the first episode of the Everything and Nothing podcast. My name is Alex Lorenzo. I will be hosting this podcast and this YouTube channel. And you may be asking yourself, well, what's this all about? Well, I'm going to tell you. I had an idea a couple months ago, about a month ago actually, to start a YouTube channel and just do literally random shit. And the name Everything and Nothing just came to me because I'm going to be doing a little bit of everything, but at the end of the day, I'm basically doing nothing, and it's just for entertainment and no real reason why, but just to make me laugh, to make you laugh, and to have a good time with everyone. Some ideas I have for the channel is obviously one, this podcast. I'll try to do one weekly, keep it under an hour, hopefully. I know I can ramble sometimes, but I've written down a lot of notes, so hopefully I stay on track. Second, I want to do food reviews of things I've never eaten or drank before. I think that'll be fun. I already recorded one today. It was from a sandwich place. I have a 6-pack of some hard cider in my fridge that I want to do a review on because I've never had that, and I'm a big cider guy. Not a big beer drinker. Actually, not a beer drinker at all, I know. All my friends make fun of me, so it's okay. You're allowed to make fun of me, too, for it. And yeah, so let me tell you a bit about myself. Again, my name is Alex Lorenzo. I'm from Fairfield, Connecticut. I grew up there, lived there my whole life, loved it. Loved it so much I got a tattoo for it, and then went to college and got the other part of my tattoo, which are both the area codes. And went to Franklin Pierce University. Best 4 years of my life. Amazing time, met some amazing people, learned a lot, kind of. And so at Franklin Pierce I studied communications, concentrations in video production and journalism. Kind of stumbled upon journalism, had done some in high school, and I was a few classes away. Ended up really enjoying it. I know Professor Bush, if he is listening to this, which he might be, he's all over social media now. Didn't do the best, but I did enjoy my time in journalism class, despite what he may believe. But anyway, I moved just recently. Moved to California for like 3 days now. Actually, I've been here since the 27th, been on my own. This is day 3 on my own, or day 2, I don't even remember. So it's crazy. I can't believe I actually did it, but I don't regret it. I'm going to live here with no regrets and have a great time. I'm starting work soon. I'm going to be working in an insurance company just for now to see what other options I can pursue, but I landed this now with some help, and I'm going to make the best of that. But anyway, moving on. Again, I'm going to be doing, I got a little off track already. I'm going to be doing food reviews, podcasts. Eventually I want to be doing comedy sketches. I'm not going to do that right away. Need to still get some equipment for that, and we'll see where that goes. Currently what you were looking at is the Everything and Nothing official logo made by my friend Mike Pico. Go follow this man on Twitter at WeThePico, WeThePiwko. He's a good kid and a really good graphic designer. Currently goes to Kansas, and big things for in his future. So if you need a logo, hop over to Twitter at WeThePico. Tweet him, message him, shoot him some cash, and he'll make you some logos. He deserves to be paid for what he does. I'm going to shout him out and throw some stuff his way, hopefully, in the near future. I got some ideas for gifts for you, Pico, so be on the lookout for that. All right, first real topic I want to talk about is I'm going to start off with football because obviously it's coming up next week. On Thursday, actually, is the first game. But I like to do this with all sports. I usually do it through Twitter, obviously, because I haven't had this podcast. But since I have this podcast, I'm going to make my preseason playoff predictions. I usually do it for all sports, but right now, obviously, football's coming up. I'm going to focus on that. Right now, I'm going to go through each division, who I think is going to win, and what I think some outcomes are going to be, and then I'll go into the playoffs. First, AFC. AFC East, even with a 4-game suspension, the Pats are still going to run through this division. They're still one of the best teams in football. It pains me to say it, but They are. Coming in second is going to be the Jets, third Dolphins, fourth Bills. I think the Dolphins are going to give the Jets a good run for their money, but in the end, I think the Jets are more of a complete team, and they will get the second, and they will get the wild card, the second wild card. For the AFC North, I think the Bengals are going to win it. Steelers are going to come in second, win the first wild card, and then the Ravens and Browns, two teams I don't see winning many games. AFC South, I have maybe a shocker. It's a pretty weak division. I have the Jaguars winning. I really believe in Bortles. I think he's a good quarterback. I think Allen Robinson's going to have a huge year, coming off a big year last year. And coming in second, I have the Colts. I think Andrew Luck's really going to turn it around. And then the Texans. I think Osweiler is a good piece, but I don't think he's that good. And then the Titans, who are still rebuilding. Mariota's a good piece, but I don't think they're there yet. And finally in the AFC, the West, I have the Chiefs winning the division. Coming in second, I have the Raiders. And then the third toss-up, I'm just going to give it to the Chargers. I think the Broncos are going to be a complete bust. I think they have a great defense, but their quarterback situation makes me want to throw up. So going over to the NFC, the East, I'm going to give it to my Giants, not playing favorites, but I really do think the Giants will win the division. Redskins coming in second. They're going to be good, but they're not going to be as good. Eagles, I'm only giving third because of what happened to Tony Romo. And Dak Prescott may be good, but we'll see how he actually is. I just hope Dez does decent because I have him in fantasy. But besides that, the Eagles, I think, are trash. And I think Ruben Randle was an awful pickup for them because he's terrible. But I know he's going to play 2 good games the entire year, and that's going to be against the Giants. Just watch. He's going to have 3 touchdowns each game. Going over to the North, Packers winning the division. I still have the Vikings coming in second because even without Teddy Bridgewater last year, he barely even threw the ball, and they were a great team. So I still think they're going to have a good team without him. Lions coming in third. Bears are just god-awful coming in fourth. I'm not a fan of Jay Cutler. I hate Jay Cutler, matter of fact. So that's all I have to say. South, Panthers winning pretty easily. But the Bucks I do have coming in second and winning the second wild card. Shout out to one of my best friends, Greg Hyman, big Bucks fan. I do think they will make the playoffs this year. Falcons coming in third and Saints coming in last, winning their majority of games only at home. The West, I have the Cardinals winning. Seahawks coming in second and being the first wild card. Rams and 49ers. I have the Cardinals as the 1 seed. Panthers 2, Packers 3, Giants 4, Pats 1, Bengals 2, Chiefs 3, Jags 4. So for the playoffs, I have the Steelers beating the Jags on the road, and the Chiefs beating the Jets at home for the wild card. The divisional, I have the Pats beating the Steelers, the Bengals beating the Chiefs, and then for the conference, Pats beating the Bengals. So besides the Steelers, all home teams winning there. And pretty similar for the NFC. The wildcard game, I actually do have the Seahawks on the road beating the Giants. Giants play much better football when they're on the road, and I think they're good, but I don't think they're that good yet. The Bucks, also, I'm going to have falling to the Packers. I'm going to have, in the divisional round, the Cardinals beating the Seahawks and the Panthers beating the Packers. Then I have the Cardinals beating the Panthers, and then the Cardinals beating the Pats in the Super Bowl, which was the same prediction I had last year. These are the 2 best teams of football. Let's not kid ourselves. And I think the Cardinals are the best team in football. They are both 1 seeds I have going in. I think they're going to run through the NFL this year. With With Brady being out 4 games, I still think with that schedule, the Pats are going to go 2-2, and then Brady's going to come back and probably be better than ever because he's pissed off, and then run through the whole NFL. All right. Moving on from playoffs, I'm going to focus on now, week 1. I'm going to do this every week, and I'm going to keep score, how many I get right and wrong. I'm going to just go quickly through each game, each week, and then make my predictions. Feel free to play along with me at home and see how many you get right and wrong every week and tally them up at the end of the year. All right, the Thursday night game, I have the Panthers at Broncos, Panthers beating the Broncos. On the Sunday games, the Bucks beating the Falcons, Vikings beating the Titans, Eagles beating Browns, Bengals beating Jets, Raiders beating Saints in a close one. I know I said Saints are going to win most games at home, and they're home in this one. It's a toss-up, but I think the Raiders are going to pull it out. Chiefs beating Chargers, Bills beating Ravens, Texans beating Bears, Packers beating Jags, Seahawks beating Dolphins, Giants beating Cowboys, Colts beating Lions, Cardinals beating Pats in the Sunday night game, and in the Monday night games, Steelers beating Redskins, and Rams beating the Niners, which is an awful Monday night game. I have 8 road teams winning, 5 home teams winning. All right, enough about football. Let's talk about something everyone can relate to, and that's movies. And I haven't been to many movies lately, but I have seen 2 recently that I want to talk about. But you know what I do before every movie I go to now, or every movie I may think about seeing, is I go to chrislikesmovies.com. I check out his review, and then I see whether I want to see that movie or not. So I encourage everyone to go to chrislikesmovies.com and follow @ChrisLikesFilm on Twitter for the best movie, I almost said predictions, the best movie analysis, best movie reviews. He doesn't really give away spoilers, so if he does, he will tell you that there are spoilers. He gives you realistic expectations going in, which I'll talk about more with one of these movies, and it's very well written, and he really cares about seeing these movies and getting the reviews out as quick as possible. So he's a good friend of mine, Chris Manatis. Go follow him @ChrisLikesFilm again, and check out chrislikesmovies.com. The first movie I want to talk about is Sausage Party, and when I went to chrislikesmovies.com and read the review, I knew not to get my expectations too high. I am a guy who will go in with high expectations and come out upset, and go in with low expectations and think the movie was the greatest. This I had really high expectations for, read the review, and put me back in place. I went in, and I really enjoyed this movie. It was not the hysterical Superbad that Seth Rogen is known to put on in the past, but it was really good for what it was. I think that towards the end, when they got to one specific scene, and if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, right before the end, you will look at everyone that you're with and just say, what the fuck am I watching? Because that's exactly what me and a couple of my friends said. We didn't even know what was going on anymore. But it was crazy. But it had real world problems they discussed. They addressed the issues with Palestine and Israel more than I could count. But so it wasn't just we're talking food, we're funny, we're saying the F word, and we're talking about sex, but which it was part of that, but it wasn't bad. I would definitely go see it. Not sure if it's still out in the theaters, but if it comes on TV or if the DVD's cheap enough, yeah, I'd buy it and I'd watch it again. And I recommend it. The next one is War Dogs, and I can't recommend this enough. Jonah Hill, Bradley Cooper are 2 of my favorite actors. Jonah Hill and Bradley Cooper can literally do any role. They are so good at what they do that they are so believable in that role. It's weird because at the end of this movie, I started to hate Jonah Hill, not him, but his character, and that's crazy because he's my favorite actor. But he just gets the job done. In War Dogs, Miles Teller again, really good actor. I haven't seen him too much, but 21 and Over is what I really know him from, and that's hilarious. One of my favorite movies, or favorite comedies. So I was really stoked for this movie. It didn't disappoint. I was expecting a lot of action, but there wasn't really no action at all. But it was very story-driven and just complete, twists and turns, I guess you want to say. Yeah, just a lot of non-expected things happen, and then shit goes down, but not in a explosion, Transformers blow-up kind of way, but more of just a realistic way. It did really happen, so they really made a good job making it seem like it was possible. If you've ever seen the movie Pain and Gain, I don't recommend it. It's with Mark Wahlberg and The Rock, based on a true story, but it was so mixed up, and when I went back and read what actually happened, it was just so crazy. The Rock's character was playing 3 different characters combined. It was weird, and the movie stunk. But War Dogs, great movie, great story, and yeah, I can't recommend it enough. All right, I may lose you for this next part, but I'm going to talk about wrestling. Before you leave this podcast or skip through, which I will put in the description what, as you have probably already seen when I'm talking about what. But before you skip the wrestling, I want to tell you a little bit why I watch wrestling and love wrestling and spend so much money on wrestling. When people ask me, why do you watch grown men half naked, oiled up, fake fighting each other, I just laugh and say, I can't really explain it to you. You just have to watch and find out. And the people that I know that make fun of it and then sat down and watched with me really went away with, wow, this is actually kind of cool, once they understood what it was. You don't go in thinking, oh, this is real, they're going to kill each other, and the big guy's going to win, he's going to crush the little guy. You go in with the mindset that you're watching a TV show. You aren't watching UFC. You're watching a soap opera for men. Not saying soap operas can't be watched by men, and wrestling isn't watched by girls, because that's wrong. They obviously could be, but that's just the way I put it. Soap opera. It's a very story-driven show. They have so many characters that you have to follow, so many different stories. But the main thing that why I love wrestling is the emotion it brings out in everyone. Wrestling fans love to shit on wrestling, and they love to love wrestling. And it's just a passion that you have. The emotions, I can sum it up in one way with one story that just happened last Monday night. So I'm in California, right? And I don't get Raw live, but I streamed it on my computer. And I got back for the last hour, which was perfect because the Universal title was vacant and it was on the line. And 4 guys were in the match: Kevin Owens, Big Cass, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. And I didn't expect much. I kind of expected Seth Rollins to win, and it would have been cool. But Kevin Owens ended up winning. Triple H ended up coming out, costing Roman Reigns, and then turning on Seth Rollins, and the internet just exploded. My mind, I was just freaking out, and people would probably be like, "What? Like, who cares? Like, he won. Who cares?" No, you don't know the backstory of all this. Once you're a fan of wrestling, you're in deep. If you know Kevin Owens, you know what he's been through. You know how long it took him to get here, and you know that his son and his wife mean everything to him, and to see their reactions, it's just amazing. Wrestling brings out emotion, just like movies, just like TV, just like music. And it's a love that I have and a million people around the world have. But Kevin Owens winning that title in the way he did, literally Triple H pedigreeing Seth Rollins and saying, "Here you go, Kevin Owens, you're the man now." It's just a perfect way to write that, and I couldn't be happier, and I just couldn't stop watching it and smiling. Another thing is I was there live at NXT Brooklyn when Shinsuke Nakamura came out. The violin was playing live, and the crowd was singing along with his theme song. Every time I watch that, I get goosebumps. Being there live was one of the greatest things I've been a part of. Like, those things don't happen in everyday life. Wrestling is the reason why those things happen. You can go to a movie and you can get goosebumps maybe, but just being a part of the live audience is something so special that I can't even put to words. Wrestling, I love wrestling as equal as I love sports. It's that simple. Alright, let's go a little more off why I love wrestling to what's going on in wrestling. Again, Kevin Owens winning the title was perfect. I didn't want Kevin Owens to just win the title, pinning Seth Rollins, whatever, pinning Roman, pinning Cass, and just being champ. Because he was just teaming with Jericho, and they weren't doing much. They won at SummerSlam, which I predicted, actually. And they're not really... He wasn't really in the title picture. He lost to the Sami Zayn at Battleground. Amazing match. Again, I was there live. It was pretty sweet. But he wasn't doing anything, so just have him win would just be like, whatever. Like, that's not really believable. But the Triple H costing Roman, and I didn't actually think it would happen. I just thought Seth would win. So it was shock value, which is great. Always good to see in wrestling. And it was just the perfect storm of emotions and everything, again. Great job by WWE, great job by Raw. I'm going to move on to a different topic, and that's going to be Roman Reigns. I'm not really going to talk about whether he was I guess I'll quickly talk about it. Roman Reigns was just ranked number 1 in PWI's top 500 wrestlers of the year. In the end, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a wrestling magazine. It's just their opinion. But Roman Reigns, I don't think he deserved to be number 1. I think number 1 this year was Finn Balor. He just accomplished so much. If we're going kayfabe-wise, which for those who don't know, that means storyline-wise, if we're talking like we're believing this is real, Finn Balor should be number 1. AJ Styles should be number 2. Roman or Dean 3 or 4, and then Seth 5. That's probably what I would do. But why I don't boo Roman Reigns, I think it's so stupid to boo Roman Reigns. And I will agree. At first, I kind of was on the booing Roman Reigns bandwagon at the Royal Rumble just because it was so damn obvious. I'm not talking about last Royal Rumble. I'm talking about 2 Rumbles ago in Philly. I was there. I was there for the last 2 Rumbles, actually. But in Philly, I was booing. I was just like, ugh, this is so stupid. Like, they basically told us Roman Reigns is going to win. Just like the year before, they basically told us Batista's going to win. Which is funny because Roman Reigns was the second to last person, and they were cheering for him. The next year, he wins, and it's obvious. So they started booing him. And it was annoying. But I looked at myself and I'm like, I don't hate Roman Reigns. I think he puts on great matches with everyone. And everyone shits on his promos, but they're not that bad. They're bearable. They were a little bad in the beginning, but he's getting a lot better. So he kicks ass and he fucking can talk now. So it's just stupid to boo Roman Reigns. It's like, oh, I'm cool, I boo Roman Reigns. Whatever. I like him. I think he's awesome. Not saying he should be champion, but I definitely cheer for him. All right, moving on to the brand split. I know I'm a couple weeks behind or a month behind, but now looking after it, seeing what they've done, and actually taking in what's going on, it started really strong. There were like 4 for 4 great shows, like 2 Raws, 2 SmackDowns. Really good shows to start the brand split. And then from there, kind of got boring. And it kind of got like, bleh, whatever. Not as good anymore. But right now, I don't think it's bad. I think it's definitely better than what they were doing before the brand split. I'm pro brand split. My thoughts on the new titles. They need him, but it's kind of annoying. Like, there's 6 divas, well, 7 including Eva, who's suspended, but 7 divas on SmackDown, and most of them are new. There's Becky, who's really good, Natalya, who's established, but no one cares too much about, and then Bliss and Carmella, who are really good, but new, and then there's Nikki Bella, I guess, can put up there, because she's very over. But I don't know. Raw kills in the Divas division with Sasha and Charlotte, now Bayley. But the title will help us care about the Divas more, obviously. The SmackDown tag titles, there's about 6-7 teams on each show, or on SmackDown. Actually, I think SmackDown is the better tag division. Raw has the New Day and the Club, which may be the two of the best tag teams. But after that, I can only think of the Shining Stars and Golden Truth, who are just 2 terrible tag teams. I know I'm forgetting a couple. The Dudleys are gone now. So the tag division on Raw may have the best 2 teams. Well, Alpha may be one of the best teams, but those are 2 of the best teams. But besides that, not a lot of depth. But yeah, I do think that each show should have all the titles, just so they could be fighting for something. So I think it's more pros than cons to have new titles. Keep going with the titles, the tag titles, for my predictions for next week, I think the Usos are going to beat American Alpha with a full Uso heel turn. I think they're going to become bad guys and start a rivalry with Alpha. And then Slater and Rhino are going to beat Hype Bros. So it's going to be Slater and Rhino versus the Usos at Backlash. And I'm not going to give you my Backlash prediction. I'm going to save that for next week because it'll be more relevant. All the matches will be announced, and it'll be closer to the event. But I'm going to tell you my thoughts on the matches. Styles versus Ambrose, great on paper. Phenomenal. If I could steal AJ's gimmick. Phenomenal on paper. But so was Ambrose and Ziggler. And I was really hyped for that match. And they were giving it all their all on the promos, but the match kind of stuck. Ambrose hasn't really been having great matches as champ. The triple threats were cool, they were good, and then after that, not much, just bleh. So Ambrose has really been not impressing me as champ, but I really think Styles can carry the load. I think they're going to have a good match. And there's been a decent story between the two, but AJ's still focusing on Cena, so it's kind of whatever. But Styles did beat Cena, and he's wearing the headband, so I get why they're doing that. All right, the next Divas six-pack challenge, or sorry, I said Divas, women's six-pack challenge. I think that's amazing. I'm glad that they're all getting the shot at the title. And right now, I think Carmella has been the best woman on the roster so far. She's impressed me the most. Becky still is probably the best, but Carmella has impressed me the most. Miz versus Dolph. I think it's really good. I think it's a good idea for the Intercontinental title. They have great chemistry together. They're best friends. So, well, off camera, they're best friends. But I think right now they're the best that both have ever been. Dolph's been really good in the past, but I think right now he's doing some of the best he's ever done, promo-wise. And again, the match at SummerSlam wasn't great, but I still think Dolph's one of the best versions of himself that he's been. Quickly, I'm going to talk about Miz and Bryan on Talking Smack, whether it was a work or not. I think there was parts work, part non-work, but I think that brought out the best in Miz, and the Miz last week was really good. Shows a lot of emotions. I don't hate the Miz. I boo him because I'm supposed to. That's his character, and his character sucks. But as a person, as a human, Mike Mizanin, I'd cheer for him. I applaud him. He loves this business and has been a fan just like I have for his whole life. And he finally got to wrestle. He may not be the biggest guy or whatever, but he works. He does his work, and he's been through a lot of shit. So in the business, so I applaud him. He's just like one of us, and the fact that people don't see it like that kind of sucks. He gets underappreciated, but at the end of the day, he wants boos from us, so I boo him anyway. But as a person, I think he should be appreciated. But besides that, I said this on Twitter. Didn't get a lot of. I got a lot of questions. Got a lot of sideways looks, and like that's pretty dumb. But I think if they want to make the Intercontinental title very prestigious, obviously this is fantasy booking, this won't happen. But after the Talking Smack, they should have had Bryan come out of retirement for one match. I know he can do one match, especially with The Miz. He doesn't have to kill himself, but whatever. Bryan versus The Miz, they go 30 minutes, closes the show. Maybe not at Backlash, because Styles versus Ambrose would be dope, but that should close. But they should close a pay-per-view, because now they have so many, they can afford it. Miz versus Bryan for the Intercontinental title, closing the match. Miz goes over, and he has his almost 200-day title reign. That would give prestige to the title, in my opinion. If not, if you don't agree with that, that's fine. I can see why people would bat an eye at that. Like, obviously, Bryan going to come out of retirement for one match. It probably wouldn't be against The Miz, and he probably wouldn't lose. But I think that would help the Intercontinental title a lot. All right, next and final match is Orton versus Wyatt. It's fresh. We haven't seen it. But in the end, I really don't care. I don't like Bray Wyatt anymore. He just comes out and spews the same shit every week, talking in his voice, doing his shit, doing his gimmick, and it's just, yeah, you're the eater of the world, you're the leader of everyone, you're a god, but you don't win. And it's not Bray's fault, but I can't get behind him and I can't cheer him because his character is just basically a liar, I guess. He says he's so good and whatever, and he's not. He doesn't win any feud. He may have won one feud against Dean before Dean was like good or champion, I guess. He was still good, but Dean didn't win much back then either. And he loses to every single person, and it's just sucks for Bray. As a character, I can't stand the Bray Wyatt character, but as a person, I mean, he's cool. He's a really nice dude when you meet him, but I just can't get behind that character. So I hope Randy Orton wins, because after that shitty SummerSlam ending that I'm never going to get into, Orton needs the win. All right, jumping off of wrestling, go over to some music real quick. I just want to make one point about music right now. I think the best band currently is 21 Pilots. Anyone who disagrees with me probably hasn't listened to them. They had 2 amazing albums, Vessel and Blurry Face. Just listen to both those all the way through. It's so good. It's the perfect amount of pop with the perfect amount of depressing lyrics to balance you out. I can't rave enough about those albums. So good. I listen to them all the time. All right. This has been the first Everything and Nothing podcast. I see now I'm only at 30 minutes, so that's good. Easy to listen to, hopefully. Maybe they'll be longer in the future. But I just want to wrap up and talk about a few things. I'm currently just sitting here in my living room in my new apartment. I still have none of my shit because the movers haven't moved my shit yet. They're still on the way. I have no idea where they are, so hopefully they get here. I'm sleeping on a pull-out couch that I bought here. I was lucky enough to get a TV from my sister's best friend from school who lives out here. And shout out to them, Sarah and Kevin. Thank you for the TV. So basically my apartment's empty. I'm getting a little bored. Been eating a lot of fast food. Been going to a lot of stores just to kill time. But yeah, again, future plans for this podcast. I'm going to do a weekly future plans for this channel, this YouTube channel. Weekly podcast like this one. I'm going to try to put a lot of work and effort into it. So I appreciate the listens and appreciate the subscriptions. I'm going to do the food reviews, hopefully 1 a week, maybe 2 a week if I can find enough shit. And then sketches will come eventually. And whatever else I can think of. Maybe a vlog every now and then. Who knows? It's literally going to be everything. And at the same time, it's going to be nothing. So I want to hear what you want to hear. Leave comments. Love reading comments about what you want to hear, what you want to see, your thoughts, whether you hate me, love me, agree, disagree, and let me know. It's always a good time. So thank you again for listening to the first episode of Everything and Nothing. I'm your host, Alex Lorenzo. Appreciate your listening, and stay tuned for future good shit. This has been Everything and Nothing. So long.